Hi, friends. I am here tonight with three very good books and one case of really bad hair. Check this out. What is going on? It's like a mohawk, but not cool. But I hope you enjoy it. So, the three books we have tonight. We have There's a Superhero in Your Book, Astro Girl, and the third chapter in Boxcar Children. So if you haven't been with us reading Boxcar Children, ask your parents to go back and either watch the previous two videos or get the book and read the first two chapters so that you know what's going on. Okay? Here we go. There's a Superhero in Your Book. Words by Tom Fletcher and pictures by Greg Abbott. I think this is the superhero. Pow, bang, crash, boom. All the fun superhero sounds that you see with Superman and Spider-Man and Wonder Woman. There's a superhero in your book. Whoosh! What was that? It's a superhero! Wow, there's a superhero in your book. And he's here to save your book from the Scribbler. Oh no, the Scribbler is scribbling all over your book with her crayons. Let's see if superpowers can stop her. How about super strength? There are some things in this book that I'll need your help for, because a superhero will need our help. Okay, so pay attention to the instructions if we get any. Okay. Power up superhero super strength by lifting the book high in the air. Oh, well, now you can't see it, but I'm lifting it. Now, turn the page. Oh dear, the scribbler has scribbled a big, strong gorilla in your book. I don't think superhero super strength is strong enough to take on a big, strong gorilla. You better turn the page quickly. Here I go. Let's try something else. I know, water. Concentrate really hard to help superhero wash the scribbler away. So on the count of three, think really hard. Wash, 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 wash. See what happens. 1, 2, 3. Splash. Look, the scribbler scribbled herself an umbrella just in time. What will she scribble next? Oh no, she scribbled some nasty scribble bad guys. We'll have to get rid of them quickly, or your book will be full of scribbles. I know, maybe superhero can use super speed. Okay, get close to the screen. I'm going to need your help. And gently, so you don't break anything, you got to tap all the scribbles quickly to power up superhero super speed. You ready? Tap, 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 tap. Wow, great tapping. Uh-oh. What's happening on the next page? I better see. Oh no! The scribbles were even faster than superhero. And now they've captured all his friends. Help! 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 What can we do? Maybe superhero can reach over and untie them by being super stretchy. Stretch your arms out as far as you can to show superhero how to do it. Stretch your arms and untie the hero's friends. Well done. Now turn the page. Ow. Oh dear. He's all stretched out of shape. Poor superhero. Why don't you blow a super kiss to make him feel better? Mwah! Ah, that's much better. Your kindness has made superhero feel all super and warm inside. The strongest superpower of all isn't super strength, water power is super speed, or super stretching. The greatest superpower is something we all have inside. Super kindness! Let's all blow the scribbler a kiss. Put your hand on your mouth and go, mwah! Ready? Mwah! It worked! Your big super kiss and the power of being kind have melted the scribbler's meanness. Look, Scribbler has hearts on her eyes now. And all the friends are free. Good job, superhero. Now that the Scribbler isn't mean anymore, it's time for her to fly away and do some nice scribbling somewhere else, like a coloring book. Whoosh the book around in the air to charge up superhero's super flying power. Ready to help me whoosh the book? Here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Whoosh! Wow, off they go into the world. I hope superhero comes back to help fix the big hole he's made. Peekaboo. Duh. And good help. If you like this book, you may have seen this author and illustrator do other books, like there's a dragon in your book, there's an alien in your book, there's a monster in your book, all from the library. Next, we have Astro Girl. Can you guess why it's called Astro Girl? I see stars, and she's wearing what looks like an orange jumpsuit and a helmet. She kind of looks like an astronaut, someone who goes into space. Astro Girl, Words and Pictures by Ken Wilson Max. Lots and lots of stars. Astro Girl. Astrid loved the stars and space ever since she could remember. Do you see a rocket ship? And an airplane? And a globe? I want to be an astronaut, Astrid told her best friend Jake as they gazed up at the stars. Will you bring me an asteroid when you come back from space? Asked Jake. Of course I will, Jakey. I want to be an astronaut, Astrid said at breakfast. Are you sure? Papa asked. You'll have to go round and round the Earth in your spaceship. He swung her around. I could do that, Astrid said, giggling. What about eating food out of a tube or a package every day? I can do that, said Astrid as she munched a cereal bar. Okay, Astro Girl, you'll also have to get used to zero gravity. Papa threw her up in the air. I can do that all day long, Astrid laughed. What about all the science experiments? Asked Papa. Could you do those, my brave explorer? Looks like they're making rocket ship cookies. No problem, said Astrid as they made rocket ship cookies. They were making rocket ship cookies. Will a space cadet like you be able to sleep on your own among the stars? Papa asked. I think that will be very hard, but I'll do it, Astrid whispered. At last it was time to go get Mama. Astrid wore her favorite space t-shirt. And another rocket. There are a lot of rockets in this book. I love rocket ships. At the Space Center, Astrid and her papa moved to the front of the crowd just as the doors opened. Mama! Astrid gave her mama a big kiss. I missed you, said Astrid. I want to be an astronaut just like you, said Astrid. You're my hero. Her mom's an astronaut, look. There's a real rocket ship. Oh, look, and there's some information on this page. Let's see what this says. Astrid has learned a lot about being an astronaut. The word astronaut comes from two Greek words. Astron, meaning star. Can you say astron? Astron means star. And nautes, meaning sailor. Can you say nautes? Nautes, astron. Nautes, astronaut. Star sailor, that's pretty cool. American astronauts Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin were the first to land on the moon in the lunar module Eagle on July 20th, 1969. But the first animal to go into orbit was a dog named Laika on the Russian Sputnik 2 spacecraft on November 3rd, 1957. And then there are some famous astronauts on the back page. This, Valentina Tereshkova from Russia, was the first woman in space in 1963. This is Shannon Lucid from the United States, who set a record for the longest time spent in space by a woman in 1996. She spent 188 days in space. This is May Carroll. She was the first African-American woman in space in 1992. This is Helen Sharman. She was the first British astronaut and the first woman to visit the Mir space station in 1991. This is Kalpana Chawla. She was the first woman born in India to go to space in 1997. And this says space food is freeze-dried so that it won't spill and cause any damage to machines. Fruit, bread, and nuts are okay as they are. Astronauts train underwater to create the feeling of floating in space. The end. That was a good book. All right, you ready for our third chapter of the Boxcar Children? Benny, Violet, Jesse, and Henry ran away from the bakery, and they ran along the forest, hiding in haystacks. Remember that? And then they slept in the woods. So I'm going to turn off this light so it's a little darker. And you can see my weird hair. Chapter 3. A New Home in the Woods. At last, Jessie opened her eyes. It was morning, but the sun was covered by clouds. She sat up and looked all around her. Then she looked at the sky. It seemed like night, for it was very dark. Suddenly it began to thunder, and she saw that it really was going to rain. What shall we do? Where shall we go? Thought Jessie. The wind was blowing more and more clouds across the sky, and the lightning was very near. She walked a little way into the woods, looking for a place to go out of the rain. Where shall we go? She thought again. Then she saw something ahead of her in the woods. It was an old boxcar. Do you know what a boxcar is? It belongs on a train. So a train will pull all of these cars behind it, and some of them are called boxcars. And they're big, wooden, and they have doors that you can open and shut to carry things. What a good house that will be in the rain, she thought. She went over to the boxcar. There was no engine, and the track was old and rusty. It was covered with grass and bushes because it had not been used in a long time. It is a boxcar, Jessie said. We can get into it and stay until it stops raining. She ran back as fast as she could to the other children. The sky was black, and the wind was blowing very hard. Hurry, hurry, cried Jessie. I have found a good place. Henry, as fast as you can. Henry took Benny's hand, and they all ran through the woods after Jessie. It is beginning to rain, cried Henry. We'll soon be there, Jessie shouted back. It is not far. When we get there, you must help me open the door. It is heavy. The stump of a big tree stood under the door of the boxcar and was just right for a step. Jessie and Henry jumped up on the old dead stump and rolled back the heavy door of the car. Henry looked in. There's nothing in here, he said. Come, Benny, we'll help you up. Violet went in next, and last of all, Jessie and Henry climbed in. They were just in time. How the wind did blow! They rolled the door shut, and then it really began to rain. Oh, how it did rain! It just rained and rained. The children could hear it on top of the boxcar, but no rain came in. What a good place this is, said Violet. It is just like a warm little house with one room. After a while, the rain and lightning and thunder stopped, and the wind did not blow so hard. Then Henry opened the door and looked out. All the children looked out into the woods. The sun was shining, but some water still fell from the trees. In front of the boxcar, a pretty little brook ran over the rocks, with a waterfall in it. What a beautiful place, said Violet. Henry, cried Jessie, let's live here. Live here? Asked Henry. Yes, why not? Said Jessie. This boxcar is a fine little house. It is dry and warm in the rain. We could wash in the brook, said Violet. Please, Henry, begged Jessie. We could have the nicest little home here, and we could find some dishes and make 4 beds and a table and maybe chairs. No, said Benny. I don't want to live here, Jessie. Oh, dear, why not, Benny? Asked Jessie. I'm afraid the engine will come and take us away, answered Benny. Henry and Jessie laughed. Oh, no, Benny, said Henry. The engine will never take this car away. It is an old, old car, and the grass and bushes are growing all over the track. Then doesn't the engine use this track any more? Asked Benny. No, indeed, said Henry. He was beginning to want to live in the boxcar, too. We'll stay here today, anyway. Then can I have my dinner here? Asked Benny. Yes, you shall have dinner now, said Henry. So Jessie took out the last loaf of bread and cut it into 4 pieces. But it was very dry. Benny ate the bread, but soon he began to cry. I want some milk too, Jessie, he begged. He ought to have milk, said Henry. I'll go to the next town and get some. But Henry did not want to start. He looked to see how much money they had. Then he stood thinking. At last he said, I don't want to leave you girls alone. Oh, said Jessie, we'll be all right, Henry. We'll have a surprise for you when you come back. You just wait and see. Goodbye, Henry, said Benny. So Henry walked off through the woods. When he had gone, Jessie said, Now, children, what do you think we're going to do? What do you think I saw over in the woods? I saw some blueberries. Oh, cried Benny, I know what blueberries are. Can we have blueberries and milk, Jessie? Yes, Jessie was just beginning, but she suddenly stopped, for she heard a noise. Crack, crack, crack. Something was in the woods. And that's the end of the chapter. There's no more chapter after that. You'll have to wait until next week to find out what that noise was. But I hope you liked that chapter 3. And it's time to say goodbye. Hold your hands out. Get your fingers ready. Wiggle them like this. Wiggle them like this. But don't fly off. And wiggle them like this. And try bye-bye. And put your fingers like this. I love you. Ready? Here we go. I love you. Goodbye. I love you. Goodbye. I love you. I love you. I love you. Goodbye. I'll see you next time. Bye.